Hello students, today we will study counterfeit and concurrent feed, Noel percentage. We will study what is the difference in the Noel percentage in counterfeit and concurrent feed, which is better and why, which is preferred in the industry, and counterfeit feed is useful for which kind of purpose, and concurrent feed is useful for which kind of cotton. We have already studied combing cycle, and then we have seen that counterfeed is that feed in which the feeding of the material or lap sheet is done during the backward journey of the nippers, whereas in concurrent feed the feeding of the lap sheet is done during forward journey of the nippers. To have a detailed study, first of all we will study what are the assumptions or what are the parameters. So in this diagram, E is the detaching distance. Detaching distance is the distance between the nippers and the detaching rollers when nippers are in foremost position. As you know, nippers are going forward and coming backward. So when they are going forward and reach the most forward position, at that time we will measure the detaching distance, and this distance is denoted as E. S is the feed per nip, that how much feed of the material is done per nip, that is called feed per nip. This is generally 5 or 6 mm. So every time the lap sheet is raking in forward direction, moving in forward direction by an amount S. M is the maximum fiber length of the cotton being used. P is the Noel percentage removed in the comber. In this lecture, we will first of all study how it is decided that the fiber will go to the sliver or fiber will go to the Noel. So this theory is explained by theory of Gegev, that fiber will go to Noel if length is smaller than fringe projecting from the nippers. As you can see in this diagram, that from the nippers, the lap sheet is projecting. How much lap sheet is projecting? That is shown by the arrow, that fringe projecting from the nippers. So this much amount of lap sheet is projecting from the nippers. Now suppose if any fiber is shorter than this length, then there are chances that that may go to the Noel, right? So we can say, so first principle or assumption is that fiber will go to Noel if length is smaller than the fringe projecting from the nippers. So we are sure if any fiber is shorter than this, that may go to the Noel. Next is fiber will go to sliver. When fiber will go to sliver? If length is greater than the detaching distance, that is distance between nippers and the detaching roller, when nippers are in foremost position. As we have seen earlier also, that nippers are going forward and coming backward. So when they are going forward and when the nippers have reached the most forward position, foremost position, at that time, what is the distance between the bottom nipper and detaching roller? If any fiber is longer than this distance, then chances are there it will go to the sliver. So now we have studied that how the fibers are going to the noil and what are the chances of fiber that they will go to sliver. So both cases we have studied. So we can now revise it that any fiber which is shorter than the fringe projecting from the nippers will go to the noil, and any fiber which is greater than the distance between the nippers and detaching roller when the nippers are in foremost position will go to the sliver. Now we will apply these two rules to the counter feed and concurrent feed. In counter feed, what is the situation? When the nippers are going forward, at that time the distance is E. So we can say that fiber will go to the sliver if it is greater than E. That is detaching distance. Now when the nippers are coming back in backward journey, feeding takes place. So the fringe projecting is not E. Now it is E plus S because the feeding of the material has taken place in the backward journey of the nippers. Now fiber will go to the noil if it is lesser than E plus S. So in counter feed, we can say that chances are there fiber will go to sliver if it is greater than E, and it will go to noil or waste if it is less than E plus S. The same thing can be expressed in the fiber length distribution curve in this way. In this case, whatever I have already said, that is expressed in the fiber length distribution curve, and it is clearly shown that fibers greater than length E will go to sliver, and they are represented by the horizontal lines. This area of the lines that will go to the sliver, and fibers shorter than E plus S will go to noil or waste. So we have already said that fiber shorter than E plus S will go to noil. So that is represented by the dotted portion. So we are seeing in this diagram that central area is common to both the areas, that horizontal line and dotted portion. So this area represents ZMNY, that in this area we are not sure that fiber will go to sliver or noil. It will depend upon the orientation of the fiber. It may go to noil, it may go to sliver depending upon its orientation in the lap sheet. So we can take the central point, that is E plus S by 2. So now we can conclude that any fiber longer than E plus S by 2 will go to sliver, and any fiber shorter than E plus S by 2 will go to noil. And this can be utilized in finding the noil percentage. As you know, noil percentage is noil removed upon total material fed into 100. So noil removed is area of triangle OBP, and this is total material fed is area of triangle ABC into 100. So as you know, they are similar triangles. So similar triangles are having area proportional to height of the square of their height. So we can write OP square upon AC square into 100. So what is OP? OP is E plus S by 2 square divided by AC is maximum fiber length M square into 100. So now we can conclude that the noil percentage in case of counter feed is equal to E plus S by 2 square divided by M square into 100. Now we will see for concurrent feed. In concurrent feed, what happens? That feeding takes place during the forward journey of the nippers. So in this case, what is the situation? When the fringe, during the backward journey of the nippers, the feeding doesn't take place. So the fringe projecting from the nippers is E when the half lap is combing. So we can say that any fiber shorter than E will go to noil. And when the nippers are moving forward, then although the distance is E, but because the feeding has taken place during the forward journey of the nippers, so any fiber which was supposed to go to the sliver in the next cycle, that may go earlier because of feeding during the forward journey of the nippers. It means fibers longer than E minus S will go to sliver, may go to sliver. So we can conclude from these diagrams that if fiber length is less than E, it may go to noil, and if fiber length is greater than E minus S, it may go to sliver. The same thing is expressed in this triangle in the same way that any fiber which is shorter than E will go to noil. It is represented by the dotted portion, that all these fibers will go to noil. And all fibers longer than E minus S will go to sliver, and represented by the horizontal lines, green horizontal lines. Now the suspense lies in the central region. So we are not sure, they may go to sliver or noil depending upon their actual position in the lap sheet and orientation of the fibers in the lap sheet. So for simplicity, we can take the central point and we can conclude that any fiber which is longer than E minus S by 2 will go to sliver. Any fiber which is shorter than E minus S by 2 will go to noil. The same noil percentage can be calculated in concurrent feed. So noil extracted divided by total material fed into 100. So noil extracted is equivalent to area of the triangle OBP, and total material fed is area of the triangle ABC into 100. As these are two similar triangles, so their area is proportional to square of the height. So area of triangle OBP is equal to proportional to OP square, and area of triangle ABC is proportional to AC square into 100. So we can write that P or noil percentage is equal to E minus S by 2 square divided by M square into 100. So we have now calculated the noil percentage in concurrent feed. If we compare in the concurrent feed, the formula is E plus S by 2 square divided by M square into 100. In concurrent feed, it is E minus S by 2 square divided by M square into 100. So we can conclude that for the same cotton, if suppose we are having a cotton and we are processing on the comber, if we will follow counter feed, the noil percentage will be directly proportional to E plus S by 2. And we will, if we will follow concurrent feed, noil percentage will be proportional to E minus S by 2. It means for the same cotton, same machine, same settings, everything same, we will have different noil percentage in counter feed and in concurrent feed. We can further conclude that noil percentage will be more in counter feed. Why? Because it is E plus S by 2 in the formula. Whereas in concurrent feed, it is E minus S by 2. It means we will be able to extract more noil, more short fibers in case of counter feed. It means it is better. because our aim is to remove the short fibers. So we can conclude that for higher oil percentage, we should use counterfeit. And if we want upgrading of the material, we should use concurrent feed. So in the industries, counterfeit is most commonly used because our aim is to remove the oil percentage, remove the short fibers, naps to reduce the imperfections and to get a good quality. So we are using counterfeit. If we want only slight improvement in quality, then concurrent feed can be used. Or if there is a cotton doesn't contain too much oil, sorry, if the cotton doesn't contain too much short fibers, naps, then concurrent feed can be used. So now we conclude and finish our lecture with the conclusion that in the industry, counterfeiting is most commonly used and counterfeiting is good for quality yarn, and we will realize more oil percentage in counterfeiting, and we will have better quality in counterfeiting. That's why it is most commonly used. Thank you.